This vehicle ran okay. This vehicle basically had a drivability problem. Now,
This video, I'm going to show you exactly what gas your car should use and why.
Engine oil in your vehicle is one of the most important and necessary procedures to keep your vehicle running and on the road.
It's not the roads, it's not your driving skill, and it's definitely not just bad luck. What's quietly wearing down your diesel engine and draining your wallet is something happening under the hood every single time you turn the key. The worst part? Most drivers don't even realize they're doing it. This is the truth about your EGR system, or exhaust gas recirculation, and how 5 common habits things you probably do without thinking are slowly killing it. What the EGR system actually does. To understand why these 5 habits are so destructive, you need to know what the EGR system is meant to do. Found in nearly every modern diesel engine, the EGR's job is to reduce nitrogen oxide emissions. These are harmful gases that diesel engines produce during combustion, and they're a major contributor to air pollution and smog. The EGR reduces these emissions by recirculating a portion of exhaust gas back into the combustion chamber. This cools the combustion process, which helps lower NOx levels. It's also designed to improve fuel efficiency under certain driving conditions. So while it might seem like just another emission device, the EGR plays a vital role in balancing performance, fuel economy, and environmental compliance. When it's working properly, you won't even notice it's there. But when it fails, because of one or more of the habits we're about to cover, it can leave you stranded with a bill that easily tops $1,000 or more depending on your engine. 1. The short trip problem. Most diesel drivers don't realize that short trips are one of the worst things for an EGR system. If you're constantly doing 5-minute drives to the grocery store or just dropping the kids at school, your engine never has the chance to reach full operating temperature, and this is exactly what the EGR system needs to function properly. When your diesel engine stays cold, the carbon buildup begins. Think of it like trying to wash oil off a pan with lukewarm water. Nothing gets cleaned. These carbon deposits begin to stack up, especially inside the EGR valve, and over time, they harden into thick, rock-like gunk. Once that happens, airflow is restricted, the engine starts to idle rough, and your check engine light becomes a regular part of your dashboard view. There's another layer to this. Cold engines tend to run rich, meaning they burn more fuel than necessary. That excess fuel generates even more soot, and that soot doesn't just disappear. It gets pulled into the EGR system, sticking to valves, sensors, and intake paths. The system gets overwhelmed, and what started as a simple short trip ends with clogged components and poor performance. 2. The cheap diesel trap. Saving few dollars per gallon might feel like a win at the pump, but it's one of the quickest ways to destroy your EGR over time. The real difference between cheap fuel and premium diesel isn't just price, it's what's inside. Premium diesel contains detergents and additives that clean the engine while it runs. Cheaper fuel skips these to cut costs. Without those additives, your combustion becomes dirtier. More soot, more unburned fuel, more carbon. Every one of those ends up in your EGR system. This starts a chain reaction. Soot builds up, clogs the EGR, performance drops, and eventually, the system fails. It's not dramatic at first, you might just notice a slight drop in mileage. But give it enough time, and you'll be facing expensive cleaning or full replacement. 3. Driving too gently. This one might come as a surprise. You'd think being gentle with your diesel easy acceleration, low RPMs, slow cruising would be good for it. But in reality, this type of driving can actually make your EGR system worse. It all comes down to heat and pressure. Diesel engines are designed to run hot. The EGR system relies on those high temperatures to help burn off the carbon deposits that naturally build up inside the exhaust path. When you drive too gently, your engine never hits those heat levels. The carbon doesn't burn off its sticks, layers up, and eventually chokes the system. That's why some engine builders and techs recommend what's called an Italian tune-up, a good, hard drive at highway speeds to let the engine breathe and clean itself out. You don't need to race your truck or drive aggressively all the time. But occasional spirited driving can dramatically extend the life of your EGR and reduce buildup. 4. Delaying oil changes. Letting your oil go a few thousand miles past the change interval might not seem like a big deal, especially if you're following manufacturer guidelines. But those service intervals are based on perfect conditions, steady highway speeds, low contamination, and ideal fuel quality. Real-world driving is never perfect. When your oil gets old, it breaks down. It stops lubricating as effectively, and more importantly for the EGR system, it starts carrying contaminants. Metal shavings, soot, unburned fuel. It all circulates through the engine. These contaminants increase wear on the engine and speed up carbon formation inside the EGR. There's another angle too. Bad oil affects combustion quality. Poor combustion generates more soot, and that soot ends up in, you guessed it, the EGR system. It's all connected. Changing your oil more frequently than the suggested interval, especially on older or heavily used engines, can reduce carbon buildup and help your EGR system last longer. 5. Using the wrong oil specification. Not all oil is created equal. Walking into a parts store and grabbing whatever's on sale might feel convenient, but it's a mistake that leads to a surprisingly fast breakdown of the EGR system. Modern diesel engines with EGR setups require low ash, low sulfur oils with a specific additive package. That's not marketing, that's chemistry. These oils are designed to handle the extra contamination the EGR system creates. They keep internal surfaces cleaner, reduce ash deposits, and maintain viscosity under high heat. Use the wrong oil, and you'll increase deposits, worsen combustion, and start the carbon cycle all over again. And here's where things spiral. More deposits lead to more clogging, which leads to worse combustion, which leads to more deposits. The oil breaks down faster, the system works harder, and your EGR is suddenly filled with sludge. Always check your engine's spec and use what it's designed to run on. The right oil protects your engine from the inside out. Should you just delete the EGR system? A lot of drivers, tired of dealing with these problems, ask the same question: why not just remove the EGR system entirely? It sounds simple enough. No more recirculated soot, no more clogged valves. But the truth is, deleting the EGR opens up a new set of risks. Once the EGR is removed, your engine starts burning hotter. That extra heat doesn't go away. It puts more stress on the cylinder heads, pistons, and other critical components. You'll also see a rise in NOx emissions, which can make your truck illegal to drive in many areas. Federal EPA regulations strictly prohibit tampering with emissions equipment, and getting caught can mean serious fines. And then there's the issue of calibration. Once the EGR is deleted, the ECU needs to be recalibrated to run without it. But most of the calibrations floating around on internet forums are either untested or poorly built. You're trusting your engine to a tune written by someone who might not even know how combustion timing works. That's like taking prescription pills from a stranger just because they worked for his buddy. Bad calibrations can lead to high cylinder pressures, overheating, turbo failure, and even cracked heads. What starts as a performance mod ends up costing thousands more than the original problem. Why it's not worth it? We've seen engines go into the shops with severe damage just months after a delete, cracked cylinder heads, VGT turbos failing under high exhaust pressure, compression ratios pushed out of spec, and worst of all, no way to reverse the damage without a complete teardown. Think of it like untreated high blood pressure. You don't feel anything at first, but the stress is always building, and when it hits, you're left with an engine that's no longer worth repairing. The smarter path. The best way to protect your EGR system isn't deleting it, it's understanding it. A well-cared-for EGR system can last over 200,000 miles without issue. If it's already failing, replacing it with a quality OEM unit and fixing the root habits behind the carbon buildup is the smarter and more legal path, and it keeps your engine working the way it was designed to without risking long-term failure. Let us know in the comments, have you dealt with an EGR system failure? Did you fix it or go for a delete? And if you've done a tune, how did it work out for you? Your diesel engine deserves better than shortcuts. Stay ahead, drive smart, keep it clean.